Tonight on CTV3 News, a call for justice. It's an emotional day in Belmopan as the accused murderers of Dr. Naum Bonilla appear before the lower court. As Hannah Rebach, Foreman, and Edwin Berthrin face the justice system. Family members, colleagues, and friends of Bonilla wait outside the court and demand justice. Plus, police say they have concrete evidence against those accused of orchestrating and carrying out Bonilla's murder. Even the Financial Intelligence Unit was brought in. The Briseño administration takes steps to boost its stake in BEL by proposing an investment of $73 million. And we take you to Orange Walk South, where farmers successfully complete the training program on sustainable livestock training. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Friday, June 5th, 2026.
This donation means a lot to us. It's a huge capacity building. We have a very good condition working ambulance that kind of expands our fleet. We already have one working ambulance, and we have another one now that doubles us. And we have one in repair, so we'll have about 3 or 4 ambulances available. Mr. Furr was kind enough to donate an X-ray machine, and that greatly increases our capacity as well to have X-rays done for our soldiers from various sports injuries and exercise-related injuries. And then we had a defibrillator from him as well, which again will help our doctors to assist not only soldiers, but patients from outside of the Ladyville community as well.
We had the equipment, but we did not have the personality, like it's the professionals on board. So for that reason, like it's to be in contact with the BDF medics. So I realized that just bring it together, and then it's about supporting my own country.
Mr. Furr, your generosity demonstrates a profound sense of patriotism, compassion, and commitment to the development of Belize. Your willingness to support the Belize Defense Force reflects your understanding in that the security and well-being of our soldiers is vital to the security and the well-being of Belize.
This is a fantastic feeling to have a new roof over my head, brand new roof. This is great.
You like your house? You love it?
Pretty.
I'm so happy and excited because I never may expect my little house. Too much months, the rent.
Now Cynthia had this opportunity. Thanks God and thanks to the People's United Party and thanks to the program that we push when we won, that we're going to give this starter house to humble families. Well, this is the evidence again.
I know Ms. Rochester is going to make sure that this home serves its purpose. I think she's ready for moving. And I think it's really important because it provides now stability for the entire family.
Not everybody could afford to go to a bank, get one loan, and get one house. And this actually helps a lot of people, families, single mothers.
Owning a home transforms a family, and those things they're non-negotiable. You don't compromise on those things. So we have made it abundantly clear that when it comes to our social programs, we don't compromise. When it comes to housing, we're working to see if we can find even more funding to be able to expand this program and to have people have access to a real home.
The Governor of the Central Bank of Belize, Mr. Kareem Michael, in his capacity as Registrar of Credit Unions, hereby informs the public that he has granted approval to the Administrator of St. Francis Xavier Credit Union Limited, Mr. Marley Neal, to convene a special meeting on Sunday, 14 June 2026 at the Corozal Community College in Corozal Town, Belize. At the special meeting, elections will be conducted for a new board of directors and supervisory and credit committees, pursuant to the Registrar's Authority under Section 61(9) of the Credit Unions Act CUA. The administrator shall continue to conduct the business of St. Francis Xavier Credit Union for a period of 3 months. The administrator will execute his responsibilities in collaboration with the newly elected Board of Committees to facilitate an orderly transition and to support the continued stability and viability of the St. Francis Xavier Credit Union. This transitional arrangement is intended to ensure the continuity of key measures implemented by the administrator to safeguard members' interests, including maintaining dividend payments to member owners while reducing non-performing loans, strengthening internal controls to minimize operational losses, enhancing the effectiveness of compliance, finance, and internal audit functions, reducing interest rates on home, consumer, and cane loans, modernizing the online banking platform, renovating St. Francis Xavier Credit Union's head office facilities, and expanding community engagement and outreach initiatives. The general membership of St. Francis Xavier Credit Union is strongly encouraged to exercise due diligence in electing qualified and capable individuals who will build on the administrator's efforts to strengthen governance, ensure effective oversight, and promote the credit union's long-term sustainability and profitability. In furtherance of the Registrar's mandate and in accordance with Section 9(1)(a) of the CUA 2023 and 27(2) of the CUA, the Registrar is empowered to conduct due diligence on individuals elected and or appointed to hold any particular position at St. Francis Xavier Credit Union to determine their fitness and propriety. The Registrar remains steadfast in its commitment to maintaining a safe, sound, and resilient credit union sector that operates in full compliance with regulatory standards, fosters public confidence, safeguards the interests of depositors and member shareholders, and contributes meaningfully to financial inclusion and Belize's economic development.
The biggest soccer season is here. Are you ready to experience the front row from home? Experience stadium level immersion with Samsung's latest technology. Perfect for every room. Your favorite Crystal UHD and QLED smart TVs are ready for you. Now at the best price. From your 32-inch personal fan zone at just $369 to the massive 85-inch home stadium experience for only $2,579. We have the perfect upgrade for every fan. Get yours with confidence at Cellular World, the authorized distributor in Belize, and receive a 1-year warranty. Visit us today and take advantage of these promotions. Valid until June 15th. Upgrade to the front row at home. Experience with Samsung and Cellular World.
Good evening. With your newscast, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Jaden Gamis. It was an emotional day in Belmopan as family members, friends, colleagues, and residents gathered at the lower court to witness what many described as the beginning of the pursuit of justice for slain physician Dr. Noun Ulysses Bonilla. The proceedings came just 1 week after the prominent doctor was fatally shot, a crime that shocked the nation and sparked widespread calls for justice. 26-year-old Hannah Rebach Foreman, a laboratory scientist, and 37-year-old Edwin Albert Bertrand Jr., an electrician, were formally arraigned in court today in connection with Bonilla's murder. The pair were jointly charged with a single count of murder. Due to the nature of the offense, no plea was taken. Both accused were remanded into custody and are scheduled to return to court on September 1st. Outside the courtroom, emotions ran high as relatives of the deceased confronted the painful reality of seeing those accused of taking the life of their loved one. Family members, many visibly emotional, watched closely as they were escorted from the courtroom. Among them was Dr. Bonilla's brother, who spoke about the pain his family continues to endure. And adding to their grief today was what they described as the lack of remorse from the person accused of ordering the hit against his brother.
It is over. You just see the smirk on Miss Hannah's face. I hope you got it. Miss Hannah thinks all of this is a joke. She's laughing not only at the grieving family, but out of our justice system, because she just got arraigned for a murder charge and she's laughing. Why is she laughing? Does she think our system is a joke, or she has something that we don't know? Is there more to this? I hope that all the people involved are seeing this. People of Belize, we have been bleeding for way too long, but this is not just a murder. My brother was hope for many people. He brought people back from the death. I'm telling you, because we know the stories. You can look them up. These are facts. He was not a criminal. He was killed over greed. Greed, because his business partner thought she could take away his hard work. And she just laughed at us. I am hurting and I'm boiling at the same time. She thinks we are a joke. She thinks our system is a joke. It's time to wake up. We want justice. We will pursue justice. We will follow through. We will do everything that is in our power to get justice for my brother.
The murder of Dr. Bonilla has deeply affected not only his family, but also the wider medical community and the country as a whole. Vice President of the Pharmacy Association, Gianni Alamia, who was present at the court hearing, said the large turnout seen both during today's arraignments and at previous public demonstrations reflects the profound impact the doctor's death has had nationwide.
So the rally was a way of the medical community, because this man knew nurses, doctors, pharmacists, patients. He was known nationwide. The rally was a way of just us not accepting what had occurred. It is a way of, at the time, coping, processing. What occurred is a violation on humanity itself, not just the circumstances of who it was, but it's a gross violation of life. And as a medical community, we felt we had to do something, that it couldn't just remain, okay, a court proceeding comes, someone's arraigned, and no. The entire Belmopan had to feel it, and that was our way of having everyone feel it, filling the streets and walking, investing our physical energy into saying, no, we don't accept what had occurred.
At today's proceedings, attorney Arthur Saldivar represented Edwin Berthrin. When he spoke to the media, the attorney emphasized that the matter must now proceed through the judicial process and noted that while the allegations against his client are serious, he, like all accused persons, is entitled to the presumption of innocence until proven guilty in a court of law.
No, it's a very early stage. No documentation has yet been presented. But suffice it to say, we know that this is a very highly scrutinized case. The fact that Dr. Bonilla was murdered is not lost on anyone. Certainly, on both sides of the bar, we want justice to be done. Justice for Dr. Bonilla is important, and justice for Dr. Bonilla means that the right persons are before the court. If they are the right persons and the evidence holds up, then the outcome will be what it should be. If it is that they are not the right persons, and all persons are presumed innocent until proven guilty, then the outcome will be justice in that respect as well. So, at the onset, we would hope that the investigation is thorough, and we would hope that the procedures were followed. And if that is the case, then there will be no issues going forward as to whether or not right has been done and a wrong has been corrected.
Will return to Belmopan lower court in the early September. And it was an extensive investigation involving multiple law enforcement and regulatory agencies that led to the arrest and murder charge of Hannah Rebach Foreman and Edwin Albert Bertrand Jr. in connection with the murder of prominent Belmopan physician Dr. Noun Ulysses Bonilla. According to the investigators, the case was built through a combination of digital evidence, financial records, and intelligence gathered from several agencies working jointly on the probe. Assistant Superintendent of Police Stacy Smith today explained that authorities pursued what they described as a joint enterprise investigation, which ultimately resulted in murder charges being brought against both accused persons. Ms. Smith added that investigators analyzed text message exchanges, financial transactions, and other electronic evidence that allegedly linked the suspects to the orchestration and execution of the crime. Ms. Smith noted that assistance from the Financial Intelligence Unit, the FIU, played a significant role in tracing financial activities that formed part of the investigation. As a result, Hannah Rebach Foreman and Albert Bertrand Jr. were formally arrested and jointly charged with the murder of Dr. Bonilla. Police contended that evidence gathered demonstrates a coordinated effort between the accused, leading prosecutors to pursue the case under the principle of joint enterprise.
I will say, without getting into too much specifics, because as you are aware, it's a matter that is before the court, is that the charge follows the principle of joint enterprise, which pretty much states that when two persons plan or commit an offense together, they can be liable for the independent conduct of each other. So even where a person may not have pulled the trigger that caused the demise of the other person, that person can still be liable for murder because there is some indication of their involvement in the planning of the act. And that is the extent to which I will discuss.
Are you able to speak on the relationship between those two persons?
With two persons,
the
two accused. I am not aware of any relationship beyond the investigation, as I stated, on the principle of joint enterprise for the incident.
Police are not seeking any other suspects.
It is still an ongoing investigation. What I will say is that this investigation was a very intense one, as with all of our investigation. However, on this occasion, we were able to leverage a lot of the tools that have been implemented with the transitioning of the department into a more technologically sound department. We relied heavily on the public safety monitoring unit and the camera system that they have there. We also relied heavily on the digital forensics unit of the Belize Police Department Cybercrime Unit. Similarly, great assistance came from the Financial Intelligence Unit, and certainly the diligence of the police officers who spent extraordinary amount of time, the investigators, going through a number of footage which helped to paint a picture and take us to where we are now.
Are you able to speak about I asked you about the relationship between these individuals. Are investigators aware that any contract or any agreement was undertaken between the two for an incentive?
As I stated, Mr. Vasquez, it is being reviewed from the principle of joint enterprise, and I will also say that the information that we have disclosed is the extent to which we wish to disclose. On the initial occasion, I stated that it was a sole male person that exited a vehicle and fired several shots. So certainly there is not an indication that another person was physically on the scene. But based on the principle that I have shared, that is why we have reached where we are now as it relates to the charge.
Dr. Bonilla was fatally shot on May 29th of 2026 in Belmopan. His death sent shockwaves throughout the country, prompting widespread calls for justice from the medical community, family members, friends, and residents. Police say investigations remain ongoing as authorities continue to gather evidence related to this case. The Briceño administration is taking steps to boost its stake in Belize Electricity Limited, BEL, by proposing an investment of approximately $73 million. This plan is outlined in the Belize Electricity Investment Bill, which was officially introduced today in the House of Representatives by Prime Minister Honorable John Briceño yesterday. The legislation grants the government the authority to acquire 8,138,020 convertible redeemable preference shares in Belize Electricity Limited. Prime Minister Briceño explained that the funding for this purchase would come from the Consolidated Revenue Fund. The move aims to reinforce the government's position as a major shareholder in the country's leading electricity provider.
Let me say this. The Belize Electricity Investment Bill of 2026 seeks to provide a legal authority for the government of Belize to acquire a significant equity interest in Belize on BEL through the purchase of these 8,138,020 convertible redeemable preference shares. This bill seeks the authorization of government to buy these shares with funds from the Consolidated Revenue Fund. Under the proposed transaction, the government will purchase preferred shares at a rate of $9 per share, consisting of par value of $2 and a share premium of $7. We plan to purchase approximately $73 million of shares. What this bill will do then is to authorize the Financial Secretary to make these payments on behalf of government. So the government must ensure all required legislative approvals, whilst BEL must provide the necessary offering memorandum, audited financial statements, regulatory approvals, and other disclosure documents required under Belize's securities legislation. Completion of the transaction can only occur after these conditions have been fulfilled. Mr. Speaker, strategically, the bill represents another step in the government's broader policy objective of increasing national ownership and influence within Belize's electricity sector. By investing approximately 73 million Belize dollars into BEL, the government strengthens its position as a major shareholder or stakeholder in the country's principal electricity utility, while potentially benefiting from future dividends, incomes, and capital appreciation.
The Prime Minister emphasized that the main goal is to enhance national ownership and influence over Belize's energy sector. He also noted that before the transaction can be completed, certain conditions must be satisfied to ensure transparency and accountability. Once these conditions are fulfilled under the subscription deed, the Financial Secretary, FinSec, will be authorized to disperse the funds on behalf of the government. Yesterday, the National Parliament gave the green light to a $3 million loan initiative proposed by CARICOM, aimed at enhancing educational infrastructure in the Corozal and Cayo districts. The motion, approved during the session, will fund the establishment of modern, safe, and climate-resilient schools designed to provide inclusive learning environments. The project encompasses more than just building new facilities. It also includes the supply of vital educational materials, comprehensive teacher training programs, and other supportive measures to improve the quality of education in these areas.
An extraordinary board meeting held on the 22nd January 2026, the CDF approved project submissions for Belize, securing approximately $1,800,000 US in grant financing and $3 million US in concessional loan financing for priority national initiatives. And whereas the approved initiatives to be undertaken with the loan financing is the school infrastructure development for Corozal and Cairo project, which seeks to provide modern, safe, inclusive, and disaster-resilient school infrastructure for the Our Lady of Guadalupe RC School in Belmopan, the St. Francis Xavier RC School, and the San Antonio RC School in the Corozal district.
Coming up next, farmers from Orange Walk South celebrate successful completion of training program on sustainable livestock farming. Stay tuned.
Reunión especial St. Francis Xavier Credit Union Limited. El gobernador del Banco Central de Belice, el señor Karim Michael, en su calidad de registrador de cooperativas de crédito, por este medio informa al público que ha autorizado al administrador de St. Francis Xavier Credit Union Limited, el señor Marley Neal, a convocar una reunión especial. Dicha reunión se llevará a cabo el domingo 14 de junio de 2026 en el Corozal Community College, en el pueblo de Corozal, Belice. En la reunión especial se llevarán a cabo elecciones para una nueva junta directiva, así como para los comités de supervisión y de crédito. De conformidad con la autoridad del registrador bajo la sección 61.9 de la Ley de Cooperativas de Crédito, CUA por sus siglas en inglés, el administrador continuará dirigiendo las operaciones de St. Francis Xavier Credit Union por un periodo de 3 meses. El administrador ejecutará sus responsabilidades en colaboración con la Junta y los comités recién electos, con el fin de facilitar una transición ordenada y apoyar la estabilidad y viabilidad continua de St. Francis Xavier Credit Union. Este acuerdo de transición tiene como objetivo garantizar la continuidad de las medidas clave implementadas por el administrador para salvaguardar los intereses de los socios, entre las que se incluyen mantener el pago de dividendos a los socios propietarios y al mismo tiempo reducir la cartera de créditos morosos, fortalecer los controles internos para minimizar las pérdidas operativas, mejorar la eficacia de las funciones de cumplimiento, finanzas y auditoría interna, reducir las tasas de intereses en los préstamos para vivienda, de consumo y para el sector cañero, modernizar la plataforma de banca en línea, renovar las instalaciones de la oficina principal de la St. Francis Xavier Credit Union y ampliar las iniciativas de vinculación y alcance comunitario. Se exhorta firmemente a la membresía general de St. Francis Xavier Credit Union a actuar con la debida diligencia al elegir a personas calificadas y capaces, quienes continuarán con los esfuerzos del administrador para fortalecer la gobernanza, asegurar una supervisión eficaz y promover la sostenibilidad y rentabilidad a largo plazo de la cooperativa. En cumplimiento del mandato del registrador y en conformidad con las secciones 9.1a de la CUA, enmienda de 2023 y 2027.2 de la CUA, el registrador está facultado para llevar a cabo la debida diligencia sobre las personas electas y o designadas para ocupar cualquier cargo en St. Francis Xavier Credit Union a fin de determinar su idoneidad y honorabilidad. El registrador mantiene firme su compromiso de asegurar un sector de cooperativas de crédito seguro, sólido y resiliente, que opere en total conformidad con las normas regulatorias, fomente la confianza del público, protege los intereses de los depositantes y de los socios propietarios y contribuya de manera significativa a la inclusión financiera y al desarrollo económico de Belice.
in Belmopan. Then I used to go do my NHI in Belize. Then I came back home in Palma. And when I found out that NHI was here, I said, right, that's the perfect thing for me. So I don't have to travel, you know? It's very affordable. That's the main point. And you don't have to wait too long. You know, sometimes you go to hospital, you have to go from the morning, whole day. But you come to the NHI at your clinic, you have access for doctors, you do your blood tests, urine tests, everything. I mean, it's very, very affordable. So if they not take the opportunity, they don't want nothing. The doctors, them, the nurses, oh my, they are so, you could question them. They give you answer to everything. And well, me, I see good result. And I have no complaint with the NHI itself. No complaint.
I'm getting older and I need more medical attention, and this is perfect for me, because previous to that I only went to the hospital if I had an emergency. I had a brother-in-law and he was not feeling too good, and he said he went to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, you need to get a good checkup. And he said, but I need to work and make some money so I can address this issue. It happened that we were working by Santana. He got worse. I had to come to New York. The next morning, Carlos, they took him to Belize. Before the day was up, he was dead. His pressure skyrocketed, and he couldn't be helped. He passed away. And that has repeated itself many times, simply because we didn't have what we have now. It's something very good for me. We've never had it before. And I see a lot of people participate. They come and they are grateful, just like myself, that this service is available.
When speed matters, every second counts. Get ahead with ExpressNet. Fast, reliable, ready when you are.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected, to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
The Belizean government is taking steps to redefine one of its key financial institutions through a legislative reform introduced yesterday in the House of Representatives. Honorable Prime Minister John Briceño presented the Development Finance Corporation Amendment Bill of 2026, which seeks to rename the entity as the Development Bank of Belize. This proposed change aims to better align the institution's name and functions with its evolving role in national development. According to Prime Minister Briceño, the change is more than just a name swap. It reflects the institution's expanded mandate and operational scope.
I rise to introduce a bill for an act to amend the Development Finance Corporation Act, Chapter 279 of the Substantive Laws of Belize, Revised Edition 2020, to rename the Development Finance Corporation and to provide for matters connected therewith or incidental to. Mr. Speaker, I know a lot of people are wondering why is it that we want to change the name. It's really a straightforward amendment that we're doing. All we're doing is to amend it, to change the name from the DFC to a name as the Development Bank of Belize. So from the Development Finance Corporation to the Development Bank of Belize. Because over the years, that's the role that that the DFC has taken over, the role of as a development bank. We are convinced that, that this would be a positive move because we need to really align with the legal identity of the corporation, which is currently under statutory obligations. Now, Mr. Speaker, we have expanded the DFC's powers and accredited instruments so that with the change, they will align more closely with that of a bank, more specifically, a development bank. That's what's key here. This is not just a regular bank like Heritage Bank or Belize Bank or Atlantic Bank. It is a development bank, a bank that's there to help the development of this country. In renaming the DFC to the Development Bank of Belize, we will be rebranding and modernizing the DFC. We'll align this institution with other regional banks like the Development Bank of Jamaica, and we are confident that it will better reposition the DFC, build confidence, and modernize this institution. I believe this is something that all of us can and should support.
The government's move to rebrand and modernize DFC is seen as a strategic effort to elevate its original standing. With comparisons drawn to the Development Bank of Jamaica. Since its founding in 1963, DFC has been instrumental in providing micro-enterprise, home, student, productive sector, and renewable energy loans. The proposed legislation aims to streamline and expand these services under a new, more aligned institution identity. Amidst rising electricity costs that have nearly doubled for some Belizean households during this summer, Belize Electricity Limited, or BEL, attributes the surge in bills to increased energy consumption. The utility company urges customers to reduce their usage, claiming that higher demand is the primary cause of the spike. However, many consumers remain skeptical, asserting that their daily routines have not changed significantly to justify the sudden increase. In response to the growing concerns, the Public Utilities Commission, the PUC, has stepped into the conversation. On Thursday, the regulatory body issued a notice advising consumers to monitor their electricity meters closely and compare their meter readings with the amounts reflected on their monthly bill. The PUC's guidance emphasizes vigilance. If consumers observe unexpected jumps in consumptions, readings that do not align with household activities, or notable discrepancies between meter data and billed amounts, they should take proactive steps. The first recommended action is to contact the BEL's customer care department for clarification. Should the explanation prove unsatisfactory, consumers are encouraged to escalate the issue to the PUC's Communications and Consumer Affairs Office. The PUC has aligned a two-tier complaint process to address such issues. Initially, consumers can file an informal complaint by submitting details of the problem along with supporting documentation like bills or receipts. The Commission will review the case and engage with BEL to seek a resolution. If the matter remains unresolved, the consumers can escalate it to a formal complaint, which involves a mediation process conducted over 30 days. Failing that, the dispute can be brought before the full PUC for a final decision. The scope of complaints includes billing inaccuracies, meter malfunctions, server disruptions, installation problems, damages, safety issues, and other utility-related concerns. To report issues, residents can contact the PUC via email at info@puc.bz or by calling 501-223-4938. Once more, 501-223-4938. Farmers from villages across the Orange Walk South constituency gathered today in San Lazaro Village to mark the successful completion of the Project Comprehensive Extension Strategy Training Program on Sustainable Livestock Farming. The closing ceremony was held at one of the participating farms and celebrated months of training, practical fieldwork, and implementation aimed at promoting environmentally responsible and productive livestock farming practices. The initiative was made possible through a partnership between the Nature Conservancy TNC and the Belize Maya Forest Trust, the University of Belize, the Belize Livestock Producers Association, and the Ministry of Agriculture. The program targeted cattle farmers from communities stretching from San Lazaro to San Felipe, providing them with the knowledge and tools needed to adopt a more sustainable livestock production method.
Today we are culminating a series of training activities with two groups of livestock farmers that are participating under the Sustainable Livestock LAC project, as how we know it. So today we are finalizing that activity. We initiated with trainings in the San Felipe Model Farm and the Shipyard Model Farm. So today we have good group finalizing the last training session, which has to do with the animal nutrition, which is an important topic within livestock production. So today we are also showcasing one of the major impact or results that the training capacity have had. We are in the farm of Mr. Arturo Carrillo. He is an active participant within the training component, and he is now implementing several of the practices that are recommended under silvopastoral system, which is the integration of trees within the livestock paddocks. So here Mr. Carrillo is implementing, along with the planting of trees, the use of the electric fencing, which is also a major component within sustainable practice, doing the proper rotation of his field so that he can have enough pasture for his animals during the year, during the production cycle. So again, it's a clear example of how the training component within the project is yielding results within the farmers.
A total of 55 farmers participated in the implementation phase of the project, included 5 model farms that served as demonstration sites where participants could observe and apply sustainable farming techniques in real-world settings. In addition to receiving extensive training and technical support, farmers were provided with the materials necessary to implement the practices in their own farms.
Definitely, there is a lot of impact that we are seeing within the within the implementation of this sustainable project with the farmer. One of the major impact is the integration of trees now within the ecosystem. We know that trees plays a very important role within the pasture for providing shade to the animal. Also, it plays an important role within the microclimate, production of a microclimate within the system, the recycle of nutrients, and the improvement of the soil condition. So there is a lot of benefit that we can observe within the system. But at the same time, other thing that we can mention is, for instance, doing a proper rotation. Using electric fence will allow the farmers to have enough food for the animals during the year. Because one of the major constraints that farmers have within the dry season is in relation to the availability of food. So with the proper rotation of the animal, the using of the electric fences, the farmer have enough food for maintaining its animal during the entire year, or during the production cycle.
And how
Minister of Agriculture and veteran cattle farmer Jose Mai, who also formed part of the project, emphasized that sustainable livestock farming is essential for the long-term success of Belize's cattle industry and encouraged participants to continue applying the knowledge gained through the program.
But we have done things wrongly for 50 years. We've abused the environment, we've abused the soils, we've abused the productive systems. It is time for us to fix that. Regenerative agriculture, silvopastoral systems, smart agriculture is the way to go. We must develop agriculture, but it must be done in a sustainable manner. And I have to applaud the efforts of TNC for this wonderful field day. This workshop is, I believe, very important. On Thursday, you know that the legislation was passed in the House for carbon credits, for Belize to be able to sell carbon credits. Again, that's very historic for us. Farmers can benefit from selling carbon credits on the market. And so I believe that this program, it comes at it's very timely. We can still do much for the environment. We can still do much for the productive sector. And so I believe that it is very good, and I encourage TNC to continue with this type of training.
Former participant Arturo Carrillo shared his experience, describing training as both practical and beneficial. Carrillo explained that the project introduced new methods for pasture management, soil health, and animal care that will increase productivity while reducing environmental impacts.
So it has helped us a lot. We began ranching here, and from way back we decided that we wanted to work alongside with nature instead of against it. So the idea is to keep as many trees as possible as many have realized here, the trees provide shade for the animals, the leaves provide nutrients for the soil, so it has helped us a lot. We were having issues with our paddocks being too big, so through TNC and the trainings they're providing, we got access to new practices farmers are doing, which includes rotational grazing and electric fencing, and we started implementing it here in the ranch. The ranch is approximately 200 acres, so it's a big task for any farmer to divide that quantity of land. But with electrical fencing, it's much more economic approach. It's faster. Before it would take us about a week to do a division. Now we can do it in a day, basically. And we have seen a lot of changes, a lot of benefits. For example, this dry season, we have had more grass than before, more pasture. The animals look better. They're looking healthier. Even I could say that the water is have more water than before. I believe it's because the cattle are not walking too far.
Maria Alters has been reaffirmed in her role as Contractor General, marking her continued tenure in the position. The reappointment, which was presented before the House today, received backing from members of the opposition as well as from the government. Prime Minister Honorable John Briceño addressed lingering questions from critics regarding Alters' compliance, specifically whether she has been submitting her annual reports as required in her capacity. Both the Prime Minister and opposition leader expressed confidence that Alters has been fulfilling her reporting obligations, alleviating concerns about her performance.
She has done 3 annual reports since her appointment on June 1st, 2023. Her first report was submitted on November 10th, 2023, which was 4 months and 10 days after she was appointed, and bearing in mind that she was not even a Contractor General for the period being reported. Her second report was submitted on July 30th, 2024, which is 4 months after the end of the fiscal year being reported on. And her third report was submitted on June 30th, 2025, which was 3 months after the end of the fiscal year being reported on. The point is that Ms. Alters have been making her annual report as is expected of her and as expected under the law. I urge the support of all members for Contractor General Maria Alters. Thank you.
And I can attest that having had an opportunity to meet with her, to talk with her, that she is indeed a consummate professional who delivers her work and delivers on time. There are no clear provisions in the Contractor General's Act, as I understand it, as to when her report ought to be submitted to the National Assembly, but she has established a standard for herself, which is 3 months after the particular fiscal year ends. And to the best of my knowledge, Ms. Alters has maintained that standard that she has established for all of us. I have no difficulty, and neither any members on this side of the House support Ms. Alters' contract being renewed as the Contractor General. And
While the leader of the opposition supported the reappointment of Maria Alters as Contractor General, she did pressure those on the other side of the House about the appointment of a new ombudsman. She questioned the Briceño government about the reasons behind the delay and called for greater urgency in fulfilling the crucial position. In response, Prime Minister Honorable John Briceño explained that the process is more intricate than it appears.
I think if she had been following up what's taking place is that the former ombudsman brought a paper to cabinet and he just signed on to something we never really think it's true. So based from meetings that he was getting from the EU and other group, where they are converting now the ombudsman office to a human rights office, which will then assume the work of the ombudsman. But it's quite complicated. I think we're biting more than we could chew. It's really, really complicated. So as it is right now, the Attorney General is taking a look at it and trying to see what kind of legislation we'll have to put.
There is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
This is a fantastic feeling to have a new roof over my head, brand new roof. This is great.
You like your house? You love it? Pretty.
I'm so happy and excited. because I never may expect my house too much months, the rent.
Now Cynthia had this opportunity, thanks God and thanks to the People's United Party and thanks to the program that we push when we won, that we're going to give this starter house to humble families. Well, this is the evidence again.
I know Ms. Rochester is going to make sure that this home serves its purpose. I think she's ready for moving. And I think it's really important because it provides now stability for the entire family.
Not everybody could afford to go to a bank, get one loan and get one house. And this actually helps a lot of people, families, single mothers.
Owning a home transforms a family, and those things they're non-negotiable. You don't compromise on those things. So we have made it abundantly clear that when it comes to our social programs, we don't compromise. When it comes to housing, we're working to see if we can find even more funding to be able to expand this program and to have people have access to a real home.
Belize has officially stepped into the distinguished role of chairmanship of the Board of Governors at the Caribbean Development Bank, the CDB. This symbolic handover occurred during the closing ceremony of the bank's 56th annual meeting held recently in Nassau, Bahamas, marking a significant milestone for the nation and the Caribbean at large. Representing Prime Minister Honorable John Briceño, Belize's designated governor to the CDB, Dr. Honorable Osman Martinez, the alternate governor, expressed Belize's unwavering dedication to fostering sustainable growth, resilience, and economic transformation throughout the Caribbean. Adding to the significance of this leadership role, Belize was also named the host country for the upcoming 57th annual meeting of the CDB's Board of Governors, scheduled for June 2027. This marks a historic return for Belize, which last held the chairmanship and hosted the summit over 3 decades ago in May of 1994. The upcoming event will be a pivotal gathering for policymakers, development agencies, and the private sector stakeholders from across the Caribbean and beyond. The CDB annual meeting stands as the bank's premier forum for decision-making. Unit finance ministers, governors, development partners, private sector leaders, and international organizations from its 28 member countries. Discussions during the gathering focuses on addressing critical development issues, exploring new opportunities, and formulating strategies for sustainable progress across the Caribbean. Over the coming year, Belize's leadership will be instrumental in steering the bank's strategic priorities, which include accelerating regional integration, boosting climate finance initiatives, and strengthening socio-economic resilience. These efforts aim to foster inclusive growth and address pressing challenges facing Caribbean nations. Mr. Efren Perez has been reaffirmed by the Board of Directors of the Federation of Tourism Chambers of Central America and the Dominican Republic, FEDECATUR, to serve a second term as president of the influential Tourism Alliance in Central America. The endorsement came during the 3rd Ibero-American Forum on Sustainable Tourism, Innovation, and Development held in San Pedro Sula, Honduras. This event gathered prominent figures from the tourism sector, government officials, international organizations, and private stakeholders from across Ibero-America. FEDECATUR's leadership praised Perez's initial tenure for significantly strengthening the Federation's institutional capacity and advancing a regional agenda focused on tourism, integration, sustainability, and innovation. Perez expressed confidence in the Federation's direction, stating, "This vote of confidence reflects our shared visions for a more connected, competitive, and united Central America and Dominican Republic. We remain dedicated to amplifying the voice of the private tourism sector and fostering collaborative relationships with regional governments to promote economic growth, job opportunities, and economic prosperity. Looking ahead, Fedicatour's upcoming agenda emphasizes enhancing dialogue between public and private sectors, boosting air and land connectivity, easing visitor movements, and prioritizing sustainability as a fundamental element of tourism policies. Additionally, the Federation aims to strengthen partnerships with international bodies and multilateral agencies. Fedicatour's membership spans the private tourism sector of 8 nations: Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, and the Dominican Republic. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Monday, June 8th, here on CTV3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at www.ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/CTV3BelizeNews. Or you can visit our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. From all of us here at CTV3, have a safe and blessed weekend. Thank you for watching and listening, and have a splendid night.